OK，
Hello，大家好，欢迎来到每个星期三晚上8点，MyyTalk 美丽时事无所不是，我们听见你的声音。Hi, good evening, everybody. Today we are really glad and grateful. Okay, we have our special guest here today, Cikgu Marcus, our former guru besar from SMK Lutong. Please welcome Cikgu Marcus. Cikgu, please say hello, salam to our audience.
Hello, salam sejahtera. Good evening. Nice to be here this evening with Dr. Alan. Thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you, Cikgu Marcus. Before we start our interview today, Cikgu Marcus, please allow me to send my special thanks to my sponsor partner first. Please allow me to do so. 首先 we have to send this special thanks to my sponsor partner, Cynics Solution Sdn Bhd. Cynics Solution， 谢谢你们赞助我们的这一个制作费 ，and T Home Shen 音乐工作室 ，and also Shun Miri Sorry, suddenly I stuck 谢谢顺成丽sponsor 我们每个月的这一个阿妈的米 Chap Inek, they fragrantize for us, so allow us to help more people those who need lah. So supaya because like Sun Senli, they do sponsor us every month the fragrantize, so allow us MyyTalk on behalf of them, we can help more people outside there who need help. 对不起 sorry audience. Tiba-tiba hari ni I stuck my blind. Okay, so come back to our interview. Cikgu Marcus, please, before we start the interview, introduce yourself once again. Tell us, the most easier way to introduce yourself is I start with one special questions.
All right.
I know actually previously, Cikgu, you've been served in SMK Lutong for more than 10 years, like 12 years or 13 years. Berapa tahun sudah Cikgu dekat SMK Lutong itu as a guru besar principal?
I went there in 2004 and I retired in 2016, so it's about 13 years. About 13 years.
If I'm not mistaken, Cikgu, at 2011 or 2012, Cikgu Marcus, you did suddenly receive a call or abrupt transfer from MOE. To actually, how is the story? They just want to retire you or pull you out and then transfer you to MOE. Apa story itu lah? Actually, at 2011 or 2012, Cikgu?
No, it's not. It is related to the issue in SMK Lutong at the time.
Okay.
Where the students who were converted, the Form 1 students who were converted. That must be around 2015. 2005, not 2012. So because the issue was very hot, and I think there were a lot of people not happy with what was going on, and maybe they thought that I was the main actor behind all the exposure of the issue, and probably and the issue attracts a lot of attention from the community, from politicians, and for the whole group around the area like Miri lah. Everybody come in, and therefore there were a lot of things happen, and one of the thing was to get me transfer out of SMK Lutong, not to MOE but to SMK Merbau.
Not transfer to ministry, tapi pergi sekolah lain.
Yeah, just my neighbor. The one with letter lah. The one with letter come out was to SMK Merbau. Although verbally I do get some indication if I want to go somewhere else like MOE, KL or in Kuching or outside. Just probably they were thinking of getting me out of SMK Lutong, that's all. But it was more insulting by asking me to go to SMK Merbau, which is just about 1 kilometer away. Why should I go there when I'm already in SMK Lutong? The school is already doing very well.
Yes.
And my school size and SMK Merbau is about the same. Just Merbau is a bit more than me and my students. That's all.
So you think that one is related to the one of the student, which is convert cases related with the religion cases, is it? So baru dia orang mau transferkan you macam tu, ibu kah?
Yeah. Before there was no news, no indication of me being transferred or going out from SMK Lutong. Suddenly, after the issue came out, there were at the time there were 5 students. In fact, yeah, that is involved 5 Form 1 students.
Okay.
Form 1 students.
Sorry, Cikgu.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, Cikgu, can you please review us more about this? Walaupun sudah lepas the cases, so I think our audience here who also same like me, they wish to know more. Okay, walaupun hal ni sudah lepas dalam 10 tahun lah. Okay, if you don't mind, Cikgu Marcus, please review for us actually how it happened and it involved how many peoples and ends up how it's ends up. Okay, so by the same time when Cikgu Marcus cuba susun the stories reviewing, okay, please allow me one more time, give me some time to seru kita punya audience. I want to ask them please, first at all allow me to apologize one more time at the first begin of the interview. I a little bit stuck. Tak dapat cakap apa-apa. Okay, because tiba-tiba tukar language pak. So I also pun sudah, I already forgot to ask our audience, please help us to like our live interview tonight and share it on your personal Facebook, your page or your WhatsApp group. So more people yang dapat dengar kita punya apa yang Cikgu Marcus dalam interview hari ini, Cikgu punya story, and then apa message yang Cikgu Marcus wish to voice out. And then for those who ability yang able to help, please you can link our comment. Dalam kita punya comment column situ ada kita punya MyyTalk, WX.Studio, kita punya bank account. So I please lah, one more time pun I ask for help. For those who able, please sponsor us, basking us, help us. So bantu kita supaya kita boleh buat dengan lebih bagus and then bring more guests for you guys. Thank you very much guys. Okay, so come back to our interview today. Cikgu masih ingat tak how the 10 years ago about the transfer punya cases? Actually that time involve berapa orang student?
It actually involved 5 students.
Oh, okay, 5 students.
5 students. Form 1 student. Actually, I don't really remember now exactly how the event started or that. But actually, to me, it was a small event, and nothing happened, nothing done at all in school. So what happened was there were students who were discovered by my teachers that they were being converted or being drawn out to embrace Islam. So they came to me and reported the matter to me. Well, as a head of school, I said we cannot also decide for the kids whether they are my students.
Yes.
They are Form 1.
Sorry, Cikgu Marcus, at that time, is it the student who reported to you or the parents come to you?
Actually, the parents who came.
Oh, okay.
The parents, mother came and said that their kids are being converted. So I said, if you are concerned about this, then you have to take your own action lah. Nothing to do with the school, because the school, we can advise you, we can investigate whatever stories, but eventually the decision whether to accept the stories, whether to allow them to be converted or not, that is the parents. So I told them, you go back and discuss among your family and see what you can do next. Then suddenly I think somebody must advise the parents, and they go report to the police. So when they report to the police, then they came to see me. The parents of one of the student only. The other 4 didn't come. Only one student, family of the student, the father, mother, grandfather that came and said, actually the parents accused me of not taking any action.
Oh, okay.
Because so I said, it's nothing to do with the school.
Okay.
We are only responsible to inform you. But whatever next is your decision, your responsibility, because you are the father. Under the law, of course, the student underage cannot be converted. But even then, I cannot do anything because they are only my student. Whatever further action is by the parents lah. So it's the parents who proceed with all the police report and all that. Then involve politician. I think they went to see some politician, and that's how it goes up to the public newspaper.
That's why jadi, I mean,
a big issue.
Yes.
It involved, in fact, all the politicians take interest at the time, and all the parties in Miri, even up to Bukit Aman. I don't know how it goes there, and even the KL ministries, and they all come down. So it was a big issue for at least 2 weeks. The school was unsettled with all the investigation going on.
Pemberita pun hari-hari masuk.
The reporters, the police, of course, from Bukit Aman, from Kuching, from Miri itself. We will every day you have to attend their investigation to school. So it was a bit pressure to the school actually. Especially for me as the head, we cannot concentrate on the schoolwork.
Yes.
Having to attend all this, and the minister that time who was responsible for education was Datuk Sri Fatimah. Datuk Fatimah. Even she has to come down, and actually, thank God he came down, and she's the one who put a stop to the whole story by calling everybody into the conference rooms, and I think he has a discussion, a frank talk before that with the father, with the family of the kids, and finally in the meeting room, she asked them, and she declared that the conversion is not complete. The process was not complete. Therefore, the girl is not converted yet. So that's how the issue put to rest for the time. Yeah, but after that, all this issue goes outside, which we do not involved anymore. I become the target after that you know.
So do you mean, Cikgu Marcus? Okay, my question come here now. Okay, sorry, please don't have hard feeling. If the thing is uncomfortable with my questions, you can decide to not answer. So, are you accused that is it the media at that time, social media, ataupun pemberita and the parents and the public put the blame on you at that moment?
I think not the public, not the media.
Okay.
They understand our situation when we explain that.
Okay. If you don't mind, just voice out, Cikgu, your feelings.
I believe that they accept our one. They understand our stand.
Yes.
That we can only investigate, we can only report, we can give information, but the school has no right over the kids. Just as those people who want to convert them has no right, because this girl only Form 1, 14 years old. They are underage, so they're still under the care of the parents. So we leave it to the parents for that. So I think we did the right thing in the case, where the parents handled it themselves together with the church. They went to, and also the police report to that So they went out. That's how the case. The only problem with us was after that happened. Then we have to answer to our education department some people, maybe the little Napoleons among the people in the education ministry or education department, trying to find faults and point to for whatever reason they have. Then they start to put in some pressure on me, like asking me to transfer. Probably because of this case, although they deny that it's nothing to do with this case, but the fact is the letter of transfer come out just a few weeks after the case happened.
So, Cikgu masih ingat tak, Cikgu, how your feelings that time, how you feel at that moment when you received the letter, actually the very first second when you received the letter to ask you transfer out from SMK Lutong, how you feel?
I was very surprised and I was shocked, because I did nothing wrong. I do nothing wrong, but as far as the case is concerned, my only failure probably from their side is I should not allow the case to go out. But to me, that's nothing to do with us, because it is the parents' right. It is the parents' right, and also whatever way they handle the thing is up to the parents, because that is their children. But anyway, out of 5 of them, only one of them were going to do all these things. And
So
maybe,
the
sorry,
four
I
of the
continue.
rest.
Beside that, they also accused two of my teachers involved in the process.
Yes.
One was Ustazah, one is a new teacher in the school. One is an old teacher for a few years. So probably because of the two teachers were involved, they also think that the school was also have a say or have a part in doing the conversion But whatever these two are doing, the two teachers told me, that is on their personal capacity I mean, nothing to do with the school. The school do not encourage them. Of course, as far as I was concerned, I didn't even know what they were doing because they do it outside the school.
Yes.
Outside the school and also outside the school hours. So these two teachers only came to my knowledge that they were involved after the whole thing blown up during the investigation. So finally, probably that's how also the department think that it was my fault because I could not control these two teachers. But the fact is that the two teachers' involvement was out of not in my knowledge at all until it was blown up. Yeah.
Yes.
Then I come to know that they were involved. After our investigation, they were involved, but of course not directly. Also, they were involved. Somehow they were involved, but not totally. There were some other parties outside of the school, together with them, involved in the conversion.
So they bring a lot of other third parties, other people come into the conversation and then make the whole circumstances become more complex.
Yeah, because it involves probably somebody outside If only probably with the parents, the school, and the teachers settle it, probably it doesn't go very big. But once it got, as usual, once it got to the police, the parents involved, and the politician come in, it was a become a big thing. And of course, when it comes to religion, it is a very sensitive issue to both sides What more to say here? So it became a very sensitive issue, and the way it was handled was also seemed to be very sensationalized sensationalized.
Thank you for your review, Cikgu Marcus. Before we go to the second section, the other question, please allow me to one more time remind our audience in front of the camera right here. If you have any comments, you have any question you want to ask, you want to send to Cikgu Marcus, you can put down your comment here, and then our Cikgu Marcus, if Cikgu Marcus nanti ada free, Cikgu Marcus pun akan reply your questions.
Sure.
And also one more time, please, if you are watching our live interview right now, for all those audience, please like and share kita punya interview tonight, so allow more people to listen to our story from Cikgu Marcus. Thank you very much. Okay, so after that, Cikgu, after this, I'm pretty sure the past case ini Cikgu appeal to the Ministry of Education, MOE. So that's why Cikgu masih stay dekat SMK Lutong until retired. Is it? And then one more thing, which is
I didn't appeal personally.
Okay.
In fact,
how is going?
It was the PIBG, it was the ex-student association who appealed for me to stay there, to stay at SMK Lutong. They find no reason for me to be transferred. And I understand also that the PIBG of the other SMK Merbau also appealed for their pengetua
to remain
there.
Yes,
because they find no reason for me to go there, and she come over to SMK Lutong. So there were other people outside who were fighting for me to stay there because they think probably they thought that I brought up the school SMK Lutong into such a stage level. There's no, it will be probably a loss if I go. Because the school will have to start all over again.
Yes, I'm totally agree, Cikgu. I mean, please let me to alert this to our audience. Maybe kita, I rasa tidak orang memang tidak lupa lah, but I just remind. Cikgu Marcus is one of the tokoh guru, the best teacher at 2019, if I'm not mistaken, right, Cikgu? 2019 before pension.
Not 2018, I think. Yeah, 20 what is that?
2019 or
2018.
2018?
2018, I think I got it.
18, Tokoh Guru, the best teacher, award been rewarded as best teacher. So this is, I mean, cukup kukuh untuk prove that Cikgu Marcus is a good teacher and then sacrificed in this education for the, I can say, whole life.
Whole life of the teacher.
Whole life,
Yeah.
Okay. And then after tu lepas pension Cikgu, I mean, what you continue any career? What you doing? You do like ramai education. I mean, liner like Cikgu ke guru besar lepas pension dia orang buka business ke, buka tuition center. How about Marcus? Cikgu Marcus, what you do after pension? A few years.
After I retired, I of course when I just before I retired. When I had go through this case last time, I, as a Christian lah, I pray and seek direction and seek the what is my God's will for me lah, you know. So I retire, and then I think He led me to do something for the church. So since my retirement, I've been actively involved with the church, especially helping in Bishop's office there. There are two things that I'm involved. One is to take care of the welfare, the Catholic welfare services. So where I'm fully involved with helping a lot of the poor, giving a lot of aids to these people needy, whoever group lah. So I'm the chairman of that Catholic welfare services for Miri. And then the other part also under Bishop's office is the looking up in the Bishop Education Council, Catholic Education Council, looking after the seven mission schools in Miri diocese, meaning that Miri diocese cover all the northern region.
Yes.
So I look after the 7 mission schools.
Oh wow.
6 primary school and 1 secondary schools, whatever, because mission schools are school added school.
Yes.
So some of the things are under mission. And also there's some coordination with the Ministry of Education, with the state government of that. So Bishop asked me to help you with that lah. So I was still stick with education in a sense lah by doing that.
So walaupun besara tapi tak pension.
Tak juga habis dengan pendidikan lah masih dalam itu. So ini actually voluntary lah. It's a voluntary job without any. I feel.
But this is
good.
a 100% volunteer job, right?
Volunteer.
You do all this on your good willing. I mean, because of the belief to the God. But you didn't get any pay, right?
No pay. I don't get any single cent of that. But I feel so far for the last how many years I'm doing now? It's 5 years I'm doing it now. I feel happy and I feel very good doing it. Although I don't get any pay for it.
Carry on, Cikgu Marcus. Tell us more. Normally, apa yang kita buat for this mission school? We give them tuition or give them activities, GERCO, or we directly involve in their like school syllabus?
No. With the mission schools, I'm just looking at the one is the liaison, become the liaison between the mission as the mission authorities who are looking after the school. So I become the liaison with the guru besar or the pengetua, whatever the mission want to do or advise them.
Between the school and the bishop office.
And also with the Ministry of Education, because every year we have some allocation for the missions from the Ministry and also from the state government now.
Okay.
So that goes to the bishop's office. But instead of bishops handling it, he asked me to handle it lah, as in between the school. So that's what kept me busy with that. And like because mission schools, the assets and properties under the mission. So that means any repair, any maintenance, or any new project, or whatever they want to do within the school using the asset, then the bishops as the mission authority is involved. That's where I come in. Not directly involved with teaching. But we
more in management.
More in management, for example, when there's vacancies for the headmaster post, then we are involved in the nominating lah. We nominate our candidate for the department to consider. We nominate, and also probably there are some issues like student, teachers. We like to ensure that we maintain a certain percentage in the school. They must be Christians or Catholic. So that's where we come in lah. Wherever possible, and I will be the one who negotiate with the department lah. Just negotiating. Of course, the decision is up to the department, but then we give our stand,
Yes.
we put our appeal, and see what they expect. So far they have worked together with us very well as far as the appointing of the headmasters, and also to a certain extent the students. But teachers, so far we have not been successful, because probably the teachers, the number of teachers who are Christians and Catholics are also not many lah.
Yes.
So they find it difficult
limited
to fulfill. Yeah. So I hope in my statement yesterday to the press,
Yes,
in response to the Ministry of Education, Minister of Education, I would hope that they get more locals.
Yes.
More locals to be accepted as teachers, and especially if locals, mean the chances of them who are Christians or not the one,
Yes,
or locals are high here lah.
Yes, let's put it in the middle path lah. Make it lebih clear dengan adil lah. Okay, I don't hold any religion, cikgu. Okay, but frankly speaking, okay, tak kisah whatever religion, no matter how, Sarawakian is still Sarawakian. We know ourselves much better than anybody else.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So for me, I totally agree with what Cikgu Marcus said so. Okay, why I mean we transfer our own Sarawakian to Semenanjung, even though maybe to Sabah, to other states, to I mean, not means that kita beza-bezakan orang Malaysia. No, not means like that. But we know our Ulu, we know our Baram area, we know Kapit area, we know our state, our home much better than anybody else. So why we transfer them, since we shortage of the cikgu?
Correct.
Right. So we should focus our own Sarawakian cikgu in our own land. Then baru kita, kalau kita ada lebih punya cikgu, we all Sarawakian was excellence, right? Kita pandai. So kalau kita ada cikgu yang lebih, we have more manpower, then we can provide them other states teacher.
Last time maybe it is okay. Last time there was no ratio being agreed. I think during Tottenham time, some due to the some negotiation or whatever, he came with the ratio. Sarawak must have 90% of Sarawakian teachers. Like that. So I think now, if last time they can be free to be in Sabah or in Semenanjung, where we are not concerned about the ratio, but now I think we should try to maintain the ratio 90-10 as possible, because one of the reasons for the shortage that we experience now, one of the source is transfer. Every year there is a transfer from Sarawak out to the Semenanjung because they want to go back. So the shortage is always in Sarawak and Sabah. We feel it because of course the majority of the teachers of course are from Semenanjung. So when these people have their times up in here, they also of course want to go back to their families.
Yes.
It's understandable. So I think one of the solution is get more locals, more Sarawakians, so that there's no such mass transfer every time at the end of the year or middle of the year, because they want to go back home. Especially Sarawakian, I don't think they can go very far. Of course, the people who are from Kuching may be serving in Miri or in Baram may want to go back, but the most is the appeal up to certain years. But to go, we can hold them for beyond 5 years even, they don't mind nothing. But for the Semenanjung teachers, to hold them back here and to be separated from the families, especially those who have families married, for more than 3-4 years, of course, it's very cruel. So I think we understand for them to go back. So the only solution is to get more locals.
Yes, kesian ba? I mean, personally, you see like all those young teachers, tak kisahlah laki ke perempuan, baru I mean just get married, maybe have belum ada budak, belum ada child, and then 27 or 28 years old, and then from Semenanjung, okay, suddenly been transferred to like Long Bemang Kapit Ulu Baram and then tiada internet, pakai solar. Kasihan tau, suruh makan tiada nasi lemak, makan kasam. How they suddenly they can focus on that? I mean
worse still if due respect, they are Muslim. If they are Muslim, go to this type of rural areas. They have problem with food. You know, they have a place with the prayer. You know, to fulfill their religious commitment. So two of the biggest thing, they already have problem with them. And of course, seeing the culture is different, the environment is different, the practices are different. That probably not so much problem. But when it comes to religious commitment, when it comes to food, and also when it comes to see how people live, the difficulties in the Ulu there, it may be difficult. You can hear a lot of cases. For example, they cannot travel with boat properly.
Even though they're scared of water, they cannot duduk dalam, speedboat, sampan, cannot.
Some of them are quite scared of that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I should not laugh.
Now okay, but last time they're quite scared because to them there's something very new. And imagine, for example, in Ulu Baram, we have the rapids, or Ulu Blaga, the rapids. It is something new for them because they don't know how to swim for some people. So it's very, very sad actually. So to me, it's also very unfair to put these people up there.
Yes.
That's why I suggest the best is to get our local.
Yes, and
our locals. Not that we are parochial or we want to be the one that for Sauken, but it is for practical reason. Practical reason.
Yes, totally agree. And then I have one question. Keep popping up in my mind. I seriously tak faham. All the problems, the conflict that Cikgu Marcus we mentioned just now. Even though me myself as a moderator, I know that. Like what I keep saying, our Sarawakian, we know ourselves much better than anybody else. So impossible the officer inside the MOE they never realize this problem. Dia orang semua pandai master, doktor, tak logik lah kalau dia orang tak tahu. The problem, the conflict that we mentioned just now. But how this thing keep happen? Still berterusan hantar anak bandar sampai Ulu Baram, sampai dalam hutan. What's your point of view, Cikgu? You see, kenapa
I think
kalau officer dalam MUI dia orang tidak tahu?
The problem is not that they don't know. They know.
They know.
I'm sure they know because a lot of these officers also come down to the ground to visit the schools.
But the problem still continuing.
They still continue. I think it's because the main reason is because of stock, supply. When a lot of if you look at the number of teachers, graduates from universities with teaching degrees, or from the Institute Perguruan Malaysia, teachers Institute of Education, wherever they be, even in Sarawak, the majority of people there are not Sarawakian. So when the supply of Sarawakians are already limited, of course the non-Sarawakian have to come in the field. That's how it caused the deployment of these people up to the rural areas. That's why important to me is it starts from the training and also for the intake. Number of Sarawakian must be increased, or locals must be increased in the Institute Pendidikan Guru.
At least equal with what our school amount, what our need.
And the universities. They must have a stock supply that is enough to supply the school in Sarawak. The planning should be done right from the very beginning. Because if you don't, the same thing to Sabah, whatever. If they should have a good data management system. How many teachers they're going to retire? How many teachers going to leave or transfer? Then they should plan based on that, lah. So I understand. That's the main issue. The supply. Do we have enough from the very beginning? The problem now, I think, is we don't have enough supply stock because we don't have enough intake recruitment in the recruitment stage at the institute. For example, you go to last time lah. Now it's different. For example, now you go to Kuching, Batu Lintang Business College, or Institute Perguruan Tun Razak. Last time, even Miri last time. more than half are not Hokkien. It is from West Malaysian.
May I ask?
I mean, we don't want them, but that's the policy lah.
Okay.
But I think if the government, the Ministry of Education, is serious about trying to solve this problem, one issue is to make sure the stock is correct.
To intake more
the intake must be adjusted.
Local pupils.
Correct.
But I have one question. Hey, may I ask Cikgu Marcus, on your own opinion, you see, is it our government, okay, we have kita tidak include enough, okay, local Sarawakian as a training teacher, ataupun orang yang apply tidak ada?
I think that the applicants are banyak. Many are interested. At one time, long time ago, I agree.
Yes.
Long time ago, people are not interested to become teachers.
Okay.
That is understandable because the job market then demands have a higher demand for other professional.
Yes.
And the pay was very good. And teachers' pay then was not so good. So people don't want to go there.
Okay.
That was many years ago. But now the scenario has changed. The pay, teachers' pay is very good. In fact, equivalent to any professionals in government, and in fact higher. In fact, for some of them. So now there is a lot of interest in going to become teachers. So I don't agree when people say there are not many people who apply. In fact, you can hear many students after from SPM who got good grades applying, but somehow they were or they sift out or they are not selected during the before interview. They send the application. I got 9 A's, you got 8 A's. You may not be interviewed, even though the minimum qualification, for example, go to some of the IPGs, only 6 A's. So they are not selected. So we don't know the reason why they are not selected, even though the results are very good. So the statement, I strongly deny the statement by some people up there saying that we don't have enough applicants who are qualified. To me, that is nonsense. Very nonsense.
Tonight, since Cikgu Marcus is here, I have one special request. Suddenly, I pop up in my mind. Okay, I want to request on behalf of our audience, on behalf of those who just graduate from school. Okay, I want to request Cikgu, if like our audience or my friend or anybody else out there, okay, if you face any problem who applying, okay, in this, we just focus in as a trainee to this education industry. Okay, if they face any problem, can they contact you, and do you willing to assist them, Cikgu?
Yeah, we can help, but the only thing is whether we have influence to change the mind of the people who do the selection. That is the big problem. You know. Also, there is a lot of process in the selection for becoming, especially for those people who go to the IPG. They have to sit for the test.
Yes.
They have to go for the interview.
Okay.
Then only they will do the selection. So
yes,
you have to get ready with so many.
Yes.
So we can try to help in the sense that, but I don't think at this stage, if you are in the government, probably we can more be influential. You know. But when we are not in the government, I think it is quite difficult lah. Quite difficult. Plus this process also, unless the process is very, very transparent, you know, the selection, selection process is very transparent, and the objectivity is guaranteed, then it's possible. So it's not very difficult lah.
Yes.
But of course, there are people who say that, who, as usual, people who accuse he get it because not based on what you are, but who you are, who you know.
Yes.
So that's, I don't know. That is a common phrase that we always hear, but sometimes to prove that is quite difficult lah, because it's very subjective. For example, we have interview. Why I select you or why I don't select you is based on my judgment. So you know, you cannot.
No matter how, is it Cikgu Marcus say that if you yourself out there, if you're ready, pack up your mind, from mental and physical yourself, you're ready to be a teacher. If you face any problems, still can come and look for, more information lah.
Sure.
Come and look for help. But just Cikgu Marcus, what you mean? Because we cannot guarantee you anything, right? But Cikgu Marcus was ready. Stand there well prepared to help.
Yeah, sure. I'm willing to help, to advise, to offer whatever advice I can. To provide whatever information
as
they
long
need.
as we are ready to be a teacher.
Yeah, but
teacher.
I don't guarantee. That's all lah.
Yes.
As far as you're not in the system and you are not in the people in the circle who are doing the decision, we cannot guarantee. But of course, to help you to apply, give you information, whatever necessary, I am willing at any time.
Yes. Okay. So a short conclusion. Okay, our audience, to our dear friend out there, if you have any problem, you face any problem which are in applying to be a training, okay, go into this education industry, you can contact us, contact Cikgu Marcus, okay, for more information. But kita tidak janji boleh settle apa-apa lah. We try ourselves to our best to help. Okay, our contact number is here. Okay, in front of the screen, so our audience can always, if need any guidance, any information, can contact us. No problem.
Yeah, the best opportunity for those who are interested now is to take advantage the one-off big
the new
recruitment.
Last week just announced by the Ministry of Education.
Because the vacancies is so large, 18,702 is a big number.
Yes.
And I'm sure that among there, according to them, the four states, Sarawak is one of them. So it's a good opportunity for those who are interested to apply.
Yes. Welcome, please come.
To apply, yeah.
Okay, come back to the education,
Yeah.
Okay, since last year, Cikgu Marcus, 2020, March of 18, the federal government had declared the movement control, implement the movement control among our whole country in Malaysia. Okay, and then the MOE had implement home-based learning. Okay, since last year, 2020. Okay, at the said day, Cikgu masih in this education as guru besar ataupun sudah pension? Sudah pension kan last year 2020 when start MCO.
Yeah.
Okay, so how the thing that what your opinion about this home-based learning? No matter how, walaupun cikgu tidak lagi dalam sekolah, okay, but how do you think this home-based learning?
Home-based learning, of course.
Is it effective? On your own opinion.
In my opinion,
yes.
In our culture,
yes.
In our culture, it is not the best alternative. We still need to have face-to-face with teacher, because our culture is not developing to not the type that we have a very independent, inquisitive,
yes,
very what do you call it? You are willing to discover, creative. No, not in our culture. All the years, our Asian culture is not that. We are not inquisitive. We are not creative. We are not critical, and we don't have that initiative to go and look for ourselves. Not independent. So I think we need to, of course, that is one of those things that the education system must need to explore, or must need to develop among our young. So I would say it at the moment, when under this MCO, under this condition, is something that we are forced into it. We have no choice. I think it is okay. It's doing fine. But the problem now is not so much, not only that,
yes,
the culture. The problem now is it is not effective because the problem of gadget, computers, smartphone.
Yes.
How many students have it in Sarawak, in Malaysia? Based on the studies, the number is not even 50% of students having the gadget or having the gadget at home. Even if they have gadget, for example, up in the Ulu Baram,
the rural area,
they do not have the internet.
Yes. They don't have Wi-Fi. They don't have internet. They don't have network.
So it is difficult not to say up in dulu, even in the suburban areas in Miri, for example, in Kuala Baram,
Yes.
or around suburban areas, Smadin area or up Batu Lapan area there, they don't have a very weak line. So how do you expect the students to learn home learning? That's one issue, GZ, supply of internet. Secondly, the students have no motivation at home. Suddenly they have no independence, when the parents are working.
Okay.
That's one, if they are allowed to work. Even if they are not allowed to work, the parents are at home. Parents are uneducated. Many of our parents nowadays, especially the rural areas, the suburban areas, are not educated.
Yes.
So they cannot be of help to the students.
Yeah.
They cannot help. So how to guide them, even though they can go online?
Yes.
They cannot help the parents. Yeah. Even the educated parents, some educated parents, you are good in maybe in mathematics or that, but students have how many subjects? Can the parents do all the subjects to help the student? No.
This one, but I think if sometimes everything they don't come in 100% right or wrong. But I think which is good to go in this one whole year, I can see one very special terms coming up. Last time orang before this MCO, before this COVID pandemic strike in, okay, orang rasa cikgu ni like just normal people, like between you and me. But nowadays, at this moment, I'm very sure that especially parents out there, they was definitely impressed with what cikgu boleh buat. Baru dia orang tahu cikgu bukan alang-alang orangnya.
Cikgu can make difference.
Yes.
Cikgu make difference.
Yes, that's why I totally agree. As a parent, be myself, like me. Okay, I'm proud to say my Chinese Mandarin was good. Okay, mathematics was excellent, no problem. But saya punya anak, saya pun tidak pandai ajar dia dalam Malay, dalam English. See, even though the just begin of the interview itself just now, when I want to twist my language to English and Malay, I stuck bah. I pun tidak pandai cakap, right? So not anybody was perfect, especially we are parents. I mean, before I married, nobody put me into the college and then train me as a parent. Saya bukan macam cikgu, saya tidak ada training. But the cikgu, this teacher nowadays from school, they've been well trained.
I think you that part I also quite on you.
Yeah.
Teachers are just put into this situation. They are not trained to teach the online learning.
Yes,
you see, many of them they learn along the way last year, for example, because of emergency.
Yes.
So I would say the teachers are also not prepared. I don't think they are quite effective in the sense.
But
because they are not trained, they never train.
Yes, but mostly cikgu doing very well. They did really good in this pandemic lah. But
they have two issues. Students have, parents have, teachers have two issues there. One is the use of the gadget itself. Many teachers also, especially the older generations, they would not use the internet, all the thing. Like me, I must admit that I don't know how to use it fully. Although there are a lot of materials, a lot of things inside there, but they are not used. That's one. The usage, the technical aspect, they do not have the technical know-how in a sense, using the internet, computer.
Yes, like preparing all those slideshow, PPT, banyak material.
Secondly, is the material presentation.
Yes.
Using the one. It's different. Well, in the class, it's very simple. Your material presentation is made as simple as chalk and talk on the board.
Yes.
Maybe some teaching aids. But when you're using this one, you have to have a lot of other material presentation methods.
So what is your
teachers are not prepared for that.
Cikgu Marcus, what is your advice to our friend out there? Ada segolongan besar cikgu who each I cannot use the terms that tidak pandai dalam komputer lah, but tidak begitu mahir in this info technology, IT, gadget. Okay, so what is your advice for them? I mean, walaupun sudah lepas tahun, I mean, we launched this MCO, we launched this home-based learning for 1 whole year. So, what is your good advice? Do you have any good advice to for those who are not really good in, especially teacher lah, cikgu yang tidak berapa mahir dalam komputer? What should they do?
They have no choice, but they have to.
Nothing much can do.
They have to go. They have to take initiative to study, to upgrade themselves, take extra courses, take over training that is provided by the department, the education department, the ministry. But they cannot stop there. They must go for outside the courses, whatever courses they can, at their own expenses lah. They must improve themselves with time. You know, to me, if they don't want to do that, it's difficult because you have no choice. Whether we like it or not, it is going to be a trend. Whether it's going to be full time every day like that or not, but they still need to use the computer online learning or as part of the teaching and learning age time. So they have no choice. To me, teachers must be willing to upgrade themselves, willing to go and study, take courses outside, take extra, learn extra skill on their own. Beside provided whatever is provided by the government.
But this, when we talk about we have to improve ourselves, kan, Cikgu Marcus, I have I just received myself last 2 days ago from this Kementerian MOE Education, Ministry of Education itself. They come out a statement said that start, I think this week maybe. I'm sorry, I cannot remember the whole statement, but start kurang lebih lah the date. I cannot remember exactly the date. Start from this week, they stop all the competition, the GERCO competition, all the pertandingan dalam sekolah ke luar sekolah, stop. Okay, so the MOE claimed that they wish the pupils and the teachers can focus 100% in this pembelajaran biasa, the normal syllabus. Okay, so I have a question. Okay, since that right now the whole education, I mean, is in totally different punya, I mean, the way of penghalaan sudah lain, tak macam dulu. Okay, why today MOE still make this decision that stop all the competition, all this extra curriculum, all the pertandingan inside inner or outside school, but they want people to focus just in the normal syllabus? Is it means that adakah ini bermakna, okay, sekolah ataupun student dalam kita punya home based learning tu we never achieve the target that MOE wish to? Is it this the reason? So they chop off, suddenly they pull out all the pertandingan. How do you think? What's the reason?
I also cannot understand why
I received the announcement, official announcement from this because saya punya anak baru dalam not secondary lah, primary, maybe secondary, I don't know. Okay, but I read the announcement for all these primary school. They said no more any inner competition, no more any, even though dalam sekolah ke luar sekolah, peringkat negeri ke peringkat kebangsaan pun semua stop. No more pertandingan like storytelling ke whatever lah, sports ke, nothing. Even though online pun tidak boleh, because they said that students have to focus on their normal syllabus. So means that, okay, so this, okay, my question is very conflict. Okay, last month, okay, our SPM result just came out after 1 year of the home-based learning. Okay, the SPM achievement in whole nationwide, okay, increase. Ada improvement, ada kemajuan dalam academic. Okay, so our menteri said is wow, good, home-based learning, excellence. Semua orang achieve, okay, successful, make a good improvement. And then suddenly MOE pula call out, said we have to focus on this normal syllabus. So apa benda? Means that actually home-based learning ni effective ke tidak effective? Conflict lah.
Yeah, a lot of people are
So what do you think? I mean, kita tak berhak untuk comment di orang atas, menteri-menteri. Okay, we also cannot read their mind. Okay, because we are normal. Okay.
Well,
so, but what?
As a parent, you have the right. As a parent, you have the right to comment or whatever.
But that's why I'm confused, Cikgu. I read on paper. Okay, all the menteri said, "Wow, we are good. We improve. Our home-based learning was excellent, successful." Then suddenly they say, "Hey, no more activities, no more GERCO, no more competition. We have to focus on this normal syllabus." So why selama ni 1 tahun ni kita tak fokus lah. So anak saya 1 tahun dekat rumah dia tidak sekolah apa-apa kan?
It is
impossible. I tengok dia hari-hari duduk depan komputer 1 hari. No lah, setengah hari. Sorry.
The SPM result is something not only the parents or the public are questioning it.
Yes. Okay, we talk about SPM first. So what do you think?
Since you bring it up.
Yes.
Even people who are in the lecturers, for example, even teachers themselves. Some teachers are also wondering how did we have a better result in the last compared to the last 5 years under the past 1 year circumstances where we lost about 100 days of school.
Yes.
No proper class. They had to do on learning. Teachers was just experimenting.
Nearly half semester they are face-to-face study.
So it is a surprise by many people, and a big question mark whether how it happened.
Yes.
Whether now can we say the home-based learning is more effective than the face-to-face learning? You know, since we said figures cannot lie, so the result says it so. But I think there is a lot to. The MOE must do a lot of these studies and convince the public that the results were there is some credibility in the results. I mean, some some credibility to make people believe that the result is true, and some people believe. For example, the other one that make people wonder, for example, is the rural. You know, according to the minister, according to the analysis, the gap between the rural students and the urban students suddenly become narrower. What it means is simply that the performance of the rural students are improving.
Yes, that's what
compared to past years. Yes. So it's also something contradicting. Yes. When we have 50% or even 60% of the rural students do not have the gadgets, do not have the internet, and they perform better than the past their past colleagues. So it's something very puzzling, very puzzling. Not too suspicious. It puzzled people, a lot of people. Why the result, last year result, is the best, you know, it's the best in the last 5 years compared to the last 5 years.
That's why me myself, I so confused by. I pun rasa sangat hairan. As actually, kita punya rural area ramai student yang tiada gadget, tiada internet, even though ada handphone pun tiada internet. They nearly half of the year they never go study at all. Correct. But they still can achieve. I mean, get improvement in this achievement of SPM. Sorry. I mean about that. My friend outside there. I'm not means that the kids last year yang ambil SPM dia orang tidak pandai. I'm not means that. Yeah. Okay. But saya hairan dah. Kalau setengah tahun pun tak sekolah, I mean pun boleh dapat markah yang bagus. So what for we study 1 whole year? So is it our MOE should kaji balik kalau macam ni home-based learning punya cara, punya structure macam ni, we can achieve something. So is it in the future after this, even though after COVID pandemic, after everybody get vaccination, okay, kita semua pun sudah bagus secara COVID, is it means that, I mean, we still have to, I mean, continue like last time, go face to face, ataupun we can go half home learning half, atau face to face half, because home learning, if based on the result of SPM, is good. Yeah, bagus mah. True. Right?
So it puzzles a lot of people. Why? So there's a call by many sectors that I think the MOE need to explain how this happened. What make the result better compared to the previous years? Is it truly the home-based learning is more effective compared to face-to-face? If so, then it's like you say, even when after the MCO, all this COVID over,
been
then
passed.
might as well just go whatever the effective way. If this is supposed to be the effective way of producing result, then why not? Yeah. Why not?
Kenapa kita lagi mau bazir banyak duit, buat di infrastructure, buat sekolah mewah, tapi duduk rumah aja. Or maybe half and half lah.
Yeah, maybe right? Hybrid.
Yes, we can 3 days at school to go have we have body contacts activities like sports car, like group activities car, right? And then we can have another 2 days or 2.5 days we study at home. So we save up more cost. Kalau betul-betul home based learning is effective.
True.
I don't know, but one more thing lah. I wish to ask our Cikgu Marcus here also. Okay, how do you think in this situation, is it MOE they play their rules really good? My question is, sampai hari ini saat sekarang lah, adakah MOE really take this take this issue in matters? Adakah dia orang betul-betul ambil perhatian? Pernahkah, I don't know, pernahkah MOE bagi whatever statement, declaration, ataupun bagi tahu siapa-siapa, maybe dalam cikgu baru tahu kah, saya tidak tahu kah, ataupun maybe guru besar pension baru tahu kah? Adakah MOE bagi whatever explanation?
Setakat ini tidak ada lah. Setakat ini belum ada lagi apa-apa statement daripada kementerian untuk memberi penjelasan ataupun kenapa keputusan begini itu belum ada. Barangkali maybe
still cannot ask.
Still under process of what do you call it, mengkaji lah.
So macam mana mau improve lah kalau macam tu MOE?
Because according to the minister, this is the exam lembaga periksaan lah, our Malaysian Exam Syndicate are the one who are responsible to investigate. So based on your knowledge, Cikgu Marcus, from Jambatan Peperiksaan, they still haven't give any statement ataupun any declaration to this SPM result. Why suddenly get a lot of improvement for this year 2020? Until today, I don't come across any explanation of that. I have not come across any statement to explain why it is. The last time I read somewhere is that the Ministry of Education will provide some answers and explanation to how this result is like that.
Yes, I think, is it patutkah kalau saya request macam tu, Cikgu Marcus? Should we invest or study more in these circumstances? Because for me, myself, I'm thinking, bukan saja, if we result not good, baru kita kaji kenapa boleh gagal bah. Tapi even though ada improve pun kita kena kaji. We have to find out why dulu tak improve, sekarang baru improve. So we find the right way. So next time, the coming years, every year we can achieve more improvement lah. So is it we should do this like analysis? Kan we should study.
Yeah, it should be done, but I think it also has to be involved with the school lah, because the teachers should know. The teachers who taught the Form 5 last year, who sat for this SPM, would know, because most of the teachers are the same teachers who teach the Form 5 for the last 4 or 5 years. They would be able to know compare the standards of the students. So that's why some of them are having some question mark. Suddenly this group is doing better than the last time, the right thing. So if they want to, I agree, but they need to study, but they must study. The teachers in the school itself must be involved in the study in the school. The exam syndicate ministry will only look at figures and they determine the passing mark, the grade, or that. That is the role there. They look at figures only. But to understand the factors, the various parameters of that, how it happened, what happened, who make it happen, or that, I think it has to go to the school, and the teachers will be able to explain.
Yes. Okay. So talk about the parents and the school itself, Cikgu.
Yeah.
I wish to ask Cikgu Marcus, how do you think is it the state government and how do our government, both federal and state government, they practice? Is it in this COVID pandemic? How do you think? Is it both of them practice good enough to take care the kids and our student welfare? All among these 1 and 2 years. in this COVID pandemic yang special punya situation sekarang?
I would say they are not doing enough. They are not doing enough. I mean, especially for example, when we talk about the gazettes, provisions of the gazette.
Okay.
Both at the federal and the state government promise. It was announced in the parliament and somewhere, or in the state also, the state government, to give gazettes to the B40 families to help them with this tablets or that. But until today, they haven't received. That's one, giving away these tablets.
I am
so they are
below
not doing
40 families. I don't receive any gazette.
Secondly, they also promise to improve on the internet, the building of towers and all the communication.
Oh, 7G.
Until now, also I think, even this MCO3, the students are in the house, they are also still having problem. Last few days you hear the accident because the students are doing their studies by the roadside, and we have a viral group of students staying overnight somewhere in the jungle just to catch internet for their online. So that alone also shows that they are not doing enough to help the schools in the education. The second one that's very obvious. I'm talking about the obvious one. The third one that we are doing is the fact that the Minister of Education announced a few days ago that they have vacancies of 18,702 to be filled, meaning that they have allowed the vacancies to accumulate for the last many months or years, not being filled. So in other words,
biar kosong macam tu saja.
There are teachers vacancies in their schools where there are vacancies for the last many months, many years, not filled. So meaning the quality of teaching in school is affected. So I think they're not, as if they're not serious enough. And the fourth one to me is, of course, like in Sarawak, the issue of the facilities of the school. The school. Kita ada bangunan yang tidak those poor buildings, teachers classroom, teachers quarters, so that until today, of course we can say because of the COVID lah, MCO, all that lah, there's no work done. But it has been a long time now. All the maintenance work, all the building work and repair work have not proceeded as fast as it should be lah. So these are clear signs, clear indicator how serious the government are taking, showing their concern on the school. Besides that, how they close. If you look at for the last 1 year, open the school, close the school, open the school, close the school. When we have this MCO, CMCO, as if there's no planning. Where some of the schools, there were students were caught because of last minute announcement. So they were caught, stayed the boarding there, for example.
And then right now, actually last week, rumors come out. They said rumors come out, and then the minister, I don't know who is the minister, one of them, okay, dalam federal government, they said that encourage the people who studying Form 4, tingkatan 4 dengan tingkatan 5 supaya ambil vaksin dahulu. Macam rupa-rupanya mau suruh student balik sekolah dalam bulan 7.
Correct.
That is not official announcement yet, rumors. So I can see the whole kita punya, the planning of this education catching up is totally mess.
For example, if you think teachers are important, they should be vaccinated first. We call much earlier. We said that teachers must be treated like frontliners because they are going to school, they are going to the kampong, they are going to. If they are not vaccinated, they may not be safe. So it's not only students, the teachers themselves first. Now, of course, we are talking about the Form 5 and Form 6 teachers. They agreed that they are going to be vaccinated. So I don't know when that will happen.
But sadly, actually, this is real facts. I can even though speak hardly nothing, tidak hide anything in front of the camera live now. I can tell everybody out there. Okay, for those frontliner, especially like my wife. She was a kindergarten teacher, and then she take care of the frontliner kids since last year MCO until now today. Okay, imagine bila baru dia dapat vaksin. Semalam, come on government, please lah. I mean, is it make sense? And then our ahli parlimen yang tak perlu kerja, tak perlu balik parlimen mesyuarat, they get vaccinated earlier at the first batch. Apa benda lah?
Parlimen baru buka lagi.
Yes. So this is seriously ridiculous lah. Okay, come, we're back to our interview.
Okay.
Okay. So if Cikgu Marcus hari ni, since you are here, we try give marking. Okay. Kalau 10 markah is the best. Okay. 1 markah is the poorest lah. Okay.
Yeah.
How many marks? Okay. You mark for our birth state and the federal government on this education. Education work, education punya situation right now under this COVID pandemic for the 1 whole year. You rasa berapa markah dia orang deserve to have from 1 to 10?
I mean, as a educationist,
yes. On your own opinion lah.
It is quite
no,
it's quite difficult for us to give marks like that because there are a lot of parameters involved. If you say, for example, on the handling of vaccine, maybe we can give this marks. On the online learning, we can give this mark, for example. So I don't know which aspect there. In the end, when you plus minus all this, we don't know where actually, unless we know all the parameters, what parameters we are based on. But definitely, I think the government, whether it's federal or state, although they said they are trying very hard, but what we see is not satisfactory yet. Many people
still can do much better.
Yeah, many people are still not happy with what is going on in the school, although the results are there lah. Yeah.
I mean, is really. I tell you what, Cikgu. Okay, before we start our interview today, okay, before this, okay, some of my friend they told me, Cikgu Marcus nanti dia kuat pembangkang nanti dia marah government. Actually, tak ada lah. Tengok tadi saya minta Cikgu Marcus untuk rating, okay, give mark to our government pun Cikgu Marcus tidak ada. I mean, said whatever bad word lah. Mana ada Cikgu Marcus pandai marah government. No lah, come on.
No, we are professional.
He was professional. Yes, I proved
where is wrong, where to say is wrong, where is lacking, we say it's lacking. But where they have the strong point, I think we need to acknowledge lah.
If you throw back the question to me, Cikgu, okay, if you throw back the question that I asked just now to myself, I will tell you I give MOE. Tapi sorry, tiada kosong.
Well, it depends on how you look at it lah. But because, for example, like me, I'm exposed to so many of it. Many parameters aspects, so it's very unfair for me to just quickly say, okay, I give this one, because then people argue, we are giving this doing this part well, this one doing this part well, only this one is not good, so overall maybe difficult.
That's why lah. I want to take this opportunity, okay, in front of the camera, tell all our friends outside there, Cikgu Marcus tak kuat pembangkang pun. Dia masih adil and professional. Okay, come to before I roll up. Hey, our whole interview, I have one last question to Cikgu Marcus.
Correct.
What you have any advice? One more time, walaupun tadi I sudah tanya, okay, a little bit this question. You have whatever advice or opinion, okay, as a tokoh guru 2019, one of our best teacher right now beside of me. Please, our best teacher, Cikgu Marcus, give some advice or opinion to our friend outside there, our education frontliner, cikgu ke, guru besar ke, ataupun even the officer dalam, minister ke, dalam jambatan pendidikan ke, any advice for them?
My advice to my teachers always when I was the pengetua, especially when I was in all the schools I go, in fact, you choose to become a teacher. Nobody force you, because if you don't want, of course you don't join, or if you are inside then you resign. If you don't want, you resign, you leave out. So if you go there and join in as a teacher, then I used to have analogy to them in bahasa. You sudah masuk dalam perahu itu sebagai seorang guru, kita terpaksa kayuh lah. Jangan kita tak kayuh. Kalau tak kayuh kita akan hanyut. Nanti kita hanyut, nanti sangkut mana-mana karam juga lah, kita juga seksa. Jadi bagi saya, kita sebagai seorang guru dalam profesi ini, kita terpaksa kayuh supaya kita sampai ke destinasi yang kita hendaklah sebagai seorang guru. Yang kedua, saya ingat bila kita kata kita pilih ini, bagi orang yang tidak ada kepercayaan, mungkin dia melihat itu dari gaji, dari segi kerja saja ya. Tapi bagi kita yang ada kepercayaan, ada agama, ini satu panggilan, vocation in life, you know. So if God may have asked you to be there to do something, there's a mission for you, there's a purpose for you. So do it to the best you can. So itulah yang saya selalu sebut kepada guru-guru saya dululah, di mana-mana sekolah saya terlibat, dan termasuk saya sendiri, itu pegangan saya.
Yes.
So I think in doing that, we will know that we have to have practice the values, the principles that we should uphold, and it must be professional in what we will do.
Yes.
Other factors, race, religion, all this, forget about it. You are teaching children that are interested to you. It is for you to color their life to the best you can.
Yes, good. I mean, me myself, as a moderator, Alan Sia, also I want to take this opportunity to, show my grateful thank you to Cikgu Marcus to accept my invitation to come into our interview. And then also I want to speak this special big thanks to all those my friend teachers, specialists, cikgu-cikgu dengan parents out there. You all did really a good job. I know, actually since last year everybody was faced a sudden shock once this COVID strike in. Tidak ada orang pernah homeschool learning pun. Parents pun sama, cikgu pun sama, especially cikgu. Ramai cikgu yang struggle, like cikgu Marcus said just now, yang tidak pandai komputer terpaksa, belajar komputer, terpaksa prepare a lot of this education, learning, teaching materials. I really salute. Please allow me one more time to send my thankful heart, my grateful heart to them. Thank you, teacher. Thank you very much, teacher. And then, by the way, before we roll up, please, our friend out there, jangan lupa, stay home, stay safe, stay healthy. We fight this COVID, this pandemic together. We hope everything will get well soon. Then we will see you out there. Kita boleh duduk minum kopi sekali.
Stay safe.
Yes, stay safe. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you.